What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. All right. Let me give a quick disclaimer. I'm a mama's boy, and I'm about to bring my mom up. And I'm going to have to mute the mic a couple times because when I talk to my mom, I get a little emotional. Um, I'm sorry, I'm having equipment issues over here. Uh, but yeah, this is my mom, people. We will have a discussion about her, some of the things she been through and how she overcame it. And let me just bring her up. No further ado, this is my mom. This is my mom, Ra. Salute, King. Salute, Lovey. OG, triple OG. I think your mic muted, mama. Mama, you gotta hit that button to unmute your mic. There you go.
Okay, I'm here.
Hey, mama.
How are
Hey,
you,
mama.
baby? Hey,
I'm good.
everybody.
I'm good. Yeah, so I wanted to bring you on the show because you've been a huge inspiration to me. And you know how I am. I like to share anything that helped me in life, hoping that it can help someone else. Charlene said, "Hey, mom."
Hey, baby.
Ooh, I don't say her name.
Well,
um, so let me ask you. So your Pop died when you was 9 years old. How did you, um, how did you take that? How did that affect you?
it was really hard, considering, um, first off, being very young. And I felt like I really didn't get to know my dad until later in life. I realized, even though he passed away at a very, when I was very young, he did teach me a lot prior to that. But being so young, I didn't feel like I grasped everything until I got older. Then I start realizing a lot of the things that he said to me, were instilled in me. And, it was like, wow, daddy said that. And this is what I'm doing. Um, First off, when I found out he passed away, I was angry, angry at him for a while. Then I was angry at God. And my mother always told me, you can't be angry at God. Things happen for a reason. I'm like, well, daddy left me at a young age. How are we supposed to live, and how am I supposed to grow up without a dad? My friends had their dads, and, um, they just like a happy family. Well, one of the things I want to talk about first off that was instilled into me before he passed away, and I want to say he started telling me these things when I was like 5 or 6. And one thing that really stuck with me was, he said, when you grow up, you're going to go to school, you're going to go to college, you're going to get married. He said, first off, be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And, like, what do you mean by that? I'm young. I walk on my 2 feet. What does he mean? And then later he told me, he said, no matter what type of man you marry, how prominent he is, if he's rich, if he's poor, whatever he's got going on, make sure you are able to stand on your own 2 feet. He said, so if he walks out on you, you're not going to be struggling. And, that was something I was like, wow, why would he say that? Well, later in life, I realized why he said it. So, even in high school, I can say starting, it always came into the back of my head, and be able to stand on your own 2 feet, no matter what. Always be able to support yourself, always be able to support your children, no matter what. So that stuck with me, and it still sticks with me to this day. Um, the losing him was very hard. I missed him coming home. He worked in a steel mill, so he had that like dirty sooty smell, but that was like my thrill before I went to bed, giving stinky daddy a hug, and going to bed. And I miss that. I
Yeah.
really miss that. You know, in the years to come. But then my older brother, stepped in and took over as quote unquote daddy. He, I don't want to say he tried to do everything my dad did, but he did do a lot that my dad would have done when I was older. You know, Coaching me in school, telling me get good grades, focus on, what I was doing, make sure I get an education because he was a dean of a college. So education was his thing. And I'll never forget him showing up at my high school graduation because I was in the National Honor Society. And it was like the biggest thrill of my life because it was a surprise, and he kept telling my mom, well, because he lived in Georgia, I'm not gonna make it, but I'm gonna send her something, give her my love. I talked to him on the phone, cried on the phone. So when I saw him, it was like I was in this different world, like my big brother's here. It was the biggest thrill of my life. So he stepped in and did a lot that my dad would have done for me growing up. And my mom talked to me a lot about being angry. It wasn't daddy's fault that he passed away. God does things for a reason. So I eventually grabbed hold of that and was able to celebrate my dad's life, and it helped me out a lot. When you guys were younger, because you still had, well, my mother, but you still had your grandmother on your dad's side and your grandfather on your dad's side. And y'all would always ask me, well, where's your dad? Well, he passed away when I was young. Well, why? And I couldn't explain the why, but I just said, God saw it fit for him. It was his time. He done his duty on this earth, and it was his time. So I lived with that. Eventually I got older, and like I said, learned to celebrate life. But my big brothers being there helped a lot, for me to get through that.
So let me ask you this too. You had me when you was 16,
Yep.
and how did you get through that being pregnant and still maintaining your GPA and getting that like how did you get through that?
Well, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it took perseverance on my part. It took me staying focused, especially when I look back, being so young and still in high school. And now I have a child that I have to raise, because my mother always said, when you have children, those are your children. You're my child. I raised you. When you have children, you're going to raise your children, and you're going to raise them the right way. But having my mom helped a lot. Having your dad's mom helped a lot because they didn't have to work. Both of their husbands worked in a steel mill, which was very prominent at that time. So when they passed away, our mothers were pretty much set for life, with their retirements and things that they received from them being workers in the steel mill. So they didn't have to work, which helped out a lot because, you were with my mother 95% of the time. You would go and stay with your dad's mother and your dad. Um, whenever they wanted to get you. It wasn't a set schedule or anything. They'd call and say, okay, we want the baby today, or you were going to keep them for the weekend, or we're going to take them on vacation, whatever have you. And our mothers, your dad's mother, my mother, were best friends. So everything worked out. As far as me continuing in high school, that made it a lot easier because I played sports, I was a cheerleader, I was always doing something. And when I came home, you were with me. You laid on the bed with me, you wrote on paper when I did my homework. We ate, we slept, I got up, went to school, you were with mom. So having a mother at home that didn't have to work really helped out a lot. And I'd have to say it was a big blessing for me and your dad to, be in that situation. Um, as far as you being with me growing up, I managed. I knew what I wanted in life. Since my mother was a nurse and she used to tell me stories, back then I was like, oh, I want to try that. But when I first graduated from high school, I got a scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh, and it was a full ride, and it was for pharmacy school. So I was like, oh, I got a liking to that. So that's what I started going to school for. And my third year internship, it was, I don't want to say boring, but it wasn't what I was looking for. They always say a lot of times people, whatever they start out going to college for, they end up changing their majors. Well, I was one of those people. As in, I thought back, I used to see the nursing students hanging IV bags and talking to patients, and here I was in this little pharmacy box, as I call it, by myself, bored, waiting for students to come through that needed medications and to fill them. And I'm like, this isn't what I want to do. I want to be out around people. I want to help people in a different way. So I ended up changing my major and went into nursing school, and was actually able to graduate a year earlier than I would have won, from pharmacy school. But when I was in college, my mom stuck to her, this is your child. She did a lot to help me out in college. Like I didn't have to worry about you not being taken care of because I was away. Even though it was only 45 minutes, I was still away. And but on the weekends, either I would come home and get you, and you spend the weekend in my dorm room with me. I take you out to the movies and things, or I would go home and we would do things. Or a lot of weekends, because your dad was right across the way at the University of Duquesne, or Duquesne University, and he would come over to Pitt and we would do things with you, or he would go home and get you and bring you up. And we always stayed, both of us always stayed prominent in your life, because you, at that point, you were just 2 years old, going on three. So we always wanted you to have the feeling of having a mother and a father there for you, even though we weren't together. um we broke up right after high school, I want to say, because we were going to college, and just kind of ventured out and kind of did our own things, but stayed in contact, close contact with each other. I think the hardest part of having a child, going to school, getting a degree, was not being with my child 24/7. But it helped, knowing that he was still in a loving environment, and getting the care that he needed, because he was with my mother. I knew how my mother raised me, and I knew you would get the same love and care that she gave to me. um as far as studying and all of that, I really didn't find it difficult because I was disciplined. I never was one to hang out in the streets or anything like that. So it was like it was you and me, or you and mom when I wasn't there. But I didn't miss out on a lot with you growing up. I didn't miss out on my studies. I was still able to maintain a 3.8 or 4.0, even having a young child at a young age and still trying to pursue a career and fulfilling the goals that I set for me. Um, Outside of perseverance and discipline, I have to say I was a very routine person. I've always been since I can remember. Like everything fell into place or had to fall into place. And if my routine got disrupted, I wasn't a happy person. So, with going
You
to
still not.
school, going to school and studying, it I was routine. Okay, I got home from cheerleader practice at this time. I knew I had my son. I'm going home to my son. I'm gonna make sure we eat. We went up to the room. We did homework. You did your bath. I got my bath. We laid down, watched TV for a little bit, and you had your bedtime. And me being a night owl, of course, I stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning with the TV on. But it was my routine, and I was able to maintain that, and that helped out a lot. I'm a planner. I'm a planner. Like you can't tell me, oh ma, tomorrow is uh we got something going on, and I tell you, don't tell me last minute stuff because I have to plan. I have to make sure everything fits into my routine. Even now, with working, everything is routine for me. But even if it is broken for I'm able to bounce back. I'm able to rearrange, for emergencies or, whatever might come up. So, but I think those were my three guiding principles growing up and being able to have um, a child at a young age and being disciplined enough to get my degree so that I can provide for my child, my children later in life, the things that I wanted them to have or even more. So I think the biggest part is discipline, perseverance, and those were my three guiding principles, along with as being dedicated. Whatever I did, I always dedicated and did put my all into it. So those helped out a lot.
So let me ask you this: we came from a small town, right?
Hmm.
How was the transition from going to that small town to going to a big city like Detroit, especially the area um that
We went to and wasn't aware of what we were walking into.
like I was a
Yes.
kid, so I mean it was like to me it was like you know coming from that small town, all our family there. You know how grandma was. I ain't gonna say she sheltered me, but I wasn't used to a lot of things.
Right.
And when I moved up here, I remember it was the second day when I wore that American flag shirt, and the boys asked me if I was cuz of blood, and I'm like, cuz what? I didn't know. And
Right.
they jumped on me, and it's like, what's going on? I wasn't. That environment was new to me. But how was it as a mother? Because now you got me and you got two little girls. And how many houses was on our block?
Yeah. It was a really big transition. Like you said, coming from a small town with basically the 5 roads in and out, no freeways, until you started going into the city and living in what they would call a village, and then going out into the world and not feeling like you have that village to protect you from whatever you would go into. So my biggest thing, even though I went to the University of Pittsburgh, I rarely drove around there. And when I came here, actually, when we were moving here and I'm trying to get directions, and I got onto this road and I'm like, oh my God, like this road, it was grass shit. Of course, me not knowing, I called it gradient, and that's why I was lost coming in. Because,
Weepy.
yeah, sis was telling me, she's like, well, if you're on grass shit, I'm like, I don't see a grass shit. I'm like, I'm on some kind of road that got 4 lanes going each way. I mean, I felt like overwhelmed, like, oh my God, what is this place? Like, and this wasn't even downtown Detroit.
Right.
And, so yeah, I panicked. I was afraid because it was just me and, you kids, because my husband at the time was already here, already there in Michigan. So I'm driving in this big U-Haul and I see this big open, and I'm like, oh my God, like I couldn't like really focus. Like she's telling me grass shit, I'm looking at gradient. And back then we didn't have GPS, so I was really lost, especially because I have no sense of direction. But eventually made it to the house, and sat back, took a deep breath, like, whew, I made it. Okay, now I'm looking at this house in the street, like, okay, this is where we're gonna live. I mean, the house, don't get me wrong, the house was beautiful. It was huge. It had 3 bedrooms downstairs, a huge living room, dining room, kitchen, big area upstairs, sitting area, huge bedroom, bathroom. It was a beautiful house, but looking around at the neighborhood, like, I'm not used to living in a neighborhood that had few houses far and in between. It was like everything was torn down. And yeah, so I go into protective mom mode. My first thought was my children. I got to make sure my children are safe in this area. So we got in, we moved into the house, get everything situated, and the first thing that I wasn't used to was gunfire. And
And
I would hear
how,
it, right,
uh,
here it is, pow 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 pow. Okay, what is that? And you were a little older, you were 9, so you was like, somebody's shooting, and I'm like, here, like in the city, like, because when we would shoot, we would be out in the woods.
right.
And here I'm like, oh my God, that's like too close. And it sounded really close. So we kind of moved on from that. But, like I said, my thing was my children. I had to protect my children. My husband was there, but not there all the time. He had his thing going, trying to make money or whatever. But I felt like it was my job, even though they say it's a man's job to protect the household. I had to protect the household because he wasn't there. So I'm pretty sure you remember this incident. There was quite a few, but there's two that really stick with me. Well, I'll bring up the first one. It's not a very nice picture, but it's something to grow on. When we were driving down the street and coming from the store, all in the van, and we stayed. The car in front of us hit a man on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I remember I was sitting in the front seat.
Yes, and all we saw the guy hit the motorcycle. We were like, oh my God, like the motorcycle had pulled off from a side street, and the helmet hit the windshield of our van and went rolling. So we were stopped by this time. And I just remember you saying, Mom, the man's head is in the helmet. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember that.
I didn't, that's something you don't want your children to see, especially at a young age like that. It's very traumatizing. But, you saw there was nothing I could do to take it back. So we had to move forward, from that. The one situation I really wanted to talk about that really changed things was you had met friends. They were friends of quote unquote the family. We were kind of adopted into this family of people. It was mainly brothers and sisters that we called them, very close, but not really related. A lot of them were related, but not all of them. And so I would let you go around the corner. There was a little store on the corner, and you would go over their house. And I'm in the kitchen cooking, and
I'm gonna have to tell my side too.
oh my goodness, yeah, you got to tell your side. All I remember was one of the little brothers busting through the door with you in his arms. He threw you to me and said he should be okay, and kept going out the other door. And I'm like, what the heck is going on around here? So that was my side. I can let you tell your side real quick.
So I was going to the store, and the only thing I remember was going in the store, and this guy ran in. I heard 2 shots, and I ran out. And as I was running, I hit the ground and couldn't move. It was like I couldn't stand up. And this dude just grabbed me and ran with me. And when I got to you, you was checking me. And then he got to my butt, went in and out. So, yeah, I got shot in the butt.
I know it's funny now, but I was like,
but when it's happening,
like, oh my God, my son got shot. Like, who did this? What's going on? Yeah, it was that was traumatizing for me. But I maintained my cool because I didn't want you to panic. And it's like, oh my God, I'm dying because my mom's panicking here.
And then I just remember you shipped me back down to Pennsylvania, and when we moved back up, when I came back, we was in a better neighborhood, way better neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay, wait, let me tell the real side of that story. Because that wasn't like a couple days or a week.
I was about to say, we can't get too detailed because some stuff ain't got no statutes of limitations on it.
Right. But no, when that happened, I called my mother. And I said, I'm bringing the children to you. I will explain later. I packed all of you guys up and I'm talking within a matter of a couple hours. Packed you guys up. We were in the van and headed to PA. And, after experiencing all that, I realized, I got to do better by my children. Like you guys, I wasn't worried about myself. It was always my children. So we found a better neighborhood, a nice home, and we moved there, got everything situated. It didn't take me long. It took me maybe a couple weeks. And, then I drove back down and brought you guys back.
The monster in the chat, your baby, she in there. That bliss. Oh, you can't see it. But yeah, the baby in the chat. That's my little monster, the blissful cosmic water. That's my baby sister. But so let me ask you about this too. So like it was different, And
yes.
Like I struggled, because of the environment that I was used to, and now the environment that I'm in. Why do I hear an echo? Is that you?
I'm not sure. I don't hear it.
Do you got your YouTube app open? It might just be my mic. It might be me. But
Okay.
and I struggled, and it was a lot of different things. Like when I got older, I really opened up how I felt when I was a kid. But like how did you build that? Because I still, like, even though I didn't tell you a lot of things, I told you the most impactful things, like coming up. Like I even told you, when I first had sex and stuff like that. How did you build that bond with a boy? Like how did you? Because I was kind of to myself, but like you always been my best friend. Like
right, and that's what I was going to hint on earlier, and got kind of taken off path.
But hold on, you know what? No, I'm not letting you. Hold on, before we skip to that, I'm not letting you, because I told you I was going to talk about this. So, when we stayed in the hood, like this, like it was new to me. I can take bottles to the store and get money back. We didn't have that in Pennsylvania, so
Right.
I had went to this. It was what was it like a garage sale, and it was the shirt I wanted. And I remember going over to Aunt Tozanne's house asking her if I can have her bottles, and she said no. And when she said no, I'm telling my side, right? So
Hmm.
when she said no, I went and found some more bottles, got the shirt, and when I got home, like I'm showing my mama my shirt, like, oh, look at this shirt I just bought. And my mama told me up. I'm talking about she beat me so bad she had an asthma attack, made me go get her inhaler, puffed the inhaler, and then start whooping me again.
And I will never forget that. And that goes along with, all of the principles that I raise, all of my kids on is you don't lie, you don't cheat, and you definitely not better steal anything.
I never
So
stole nothing in my life. I never. I don't even think about it now.
right. So when you came in with this shirt, and I'm looking like, I would give you guys a little allowance to go to the store, get candy or soda, whatever. I'm like, that shirt had to cost not a lot, but it cost something. And where did you get the money from? And that's what you told me. You said Auntie gave me some bottles to take to the store, and
No,
I'm
she
like,
called. She called and
yeah,
told
she
you I took the
called
bottles.
me and said you took them.
Yeah,
So yeah, as soon as she said that, and you were steady saying, "No, ma, I found the bottle." Well, she said you took them. I found them, and I just start whooping. Oh my god! Like you will never steal another thing in your life. And yeah, I remember the asthma attack because we still laugh about it to this day.
I think that's why you had the asthma attack because you was whooping me and talking at the same time.
Right, and hardly breathing, like, oh, you did, and I was like, okay, hold, like, stopped in the midst of the action and said, go get my inhaler, I can't breathe. And you stopped and looked at me like, huh? Like, how you gonna stop mid conversation of whooping my butt and have me go get your inhaler? And I gave you the look, which I call mama's look, where whatever it is, mama said, do it, you go do it. You don't ask questions, and you got about 30 seconds to do it in. So you went and got my inhaler, got my asthma under control, and you thought it was all over with.
I thought it was over.
Get the belt and come back, and I whooped you some more. Yeah,
Oh man, but
that
you know what?
was,
But you know what I appreciate because I mean that kept me in line. Even like when I got bigger, I remember I forgot what I did. I said something, and when you kicked me in the chest, I was like, where did the little foot come from?
I wasn't a violent mom, guys. Just a
Nah,
very
she
disciplined
she
mom.
just had a big boy and had to keep him in check, and she did that, and you did that.
Yeah. But, I say a lot of the morals and values that were instilled in me by our mothers, I'm saying our mothers, I'm talking about my mother and your dad's mother, they were Southern belles, as we call it. They grew up in the South, and how Southern people are raised. You are respectful, especially to your elders and to each other. But you always respect your elders no matter what. Because if you disrespected them, you got a whooping from them, and then you got a whooping when you got home. And then when your aunties and uncles found out, you got another whooping.
And get
And
another
if the
look on.
neighbor found out, you got another whoop. Yeah. So, we were raised with those morals and values. And I grew with you guys growing up, especially in a big city, a lot of peer pressure, a lot of influence from the streets. And I think that kept you guys pretty much in line. I'm going to say, and I have to say this because I respect you so much for this. When you got older and with, influence of, your quote unquote boys or, the men from the family that grew up with you, I knew there was a lot of influence. I know you were going to be tempted to do a lot of things that I've always told you not to do. And I just had to trust that you wouldn't do those things, or you would do it in a smart way where you didn't get in trouble. I didn't find out and you got caught, or went to jail or something like that. So I have to say a lot of the morals and values that were instilled in you made you a street smart person, learning from the streets growing up. Like, you knew, okay, if I went out and I was on the corner and somebody saw me drinking, they gonna tell my mama and I'm gonna get it. So, okay, if I feel like I want to sneak a drink with the boys, we got somebody to buy a drink and we went in somebody's house. Mama didn't know. Well, at least you thought mama didn't know.
I,
A lot
I
of
was
lot
like,
of stuff I knew. I just and that's why I say I have the utmost respect for you to this day, because you were able to keep a handle on it. You were able to do some things that your boys were doing, or just things you wanted to experience in life in general, but you never brought it back home.
you know what, that like everything I did, I left it in the street. I didn't,
Right,
because I didn't want to, put nobody else in danger. I mean, because I knew I was being irresponsible,
right,
and I knew you knew a lot what I was doing, but you used to just tell me to be safe, be smart, be safe, and
yep,
be smart. And every time I did stuff, that's how I did it. I heard your head, and then that's what made me turn around at the end of the day, just to leave it all alone.
right,
Because sometimes, like, I'm trying to see how I'm gonna word this, because like the people I was dealing with, sometimes they don't want to let go,
right.
you know. But I had to. Let me ask you this, because your daughter-in-law is snitching on me. She put kaboom in the chat.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you remember how you got that name,
we can't talk about that, but
right? But we
'cause like,
remember how we start calling you Kaboom.
and that's what I'm so like. Like, how can I question this? Like, because you worked. Not only did you work, but you was the NAM at the hospital down the street from us, and it's just so happened to be a level one and the second best hospital in the state. So how was it? And you worked midnight, so you basically ran the nurses in the. Well, what exactly? What was that like? What was that position?
Well, we called it NAM, as you said. It, like I said, a prominent hospital in Detroit. It was one of the biggest level one trauma centers. So the NAM was, our title was nursing administrative managers, and that's what I have my master's in, nursing administration. So you have this, I don't want to say black woman, I don't want to say African American, but as I call myself, a woman of color, running, because I not only manage the nurses, we manage the whole facility, from the nurses, the techs, radiology, ER, security, housekeeping. We did it all. And there was just one of us for this humongous hospital at night. And you knew, with living in the city in Detroit, we got traumas, gunshots, you name it, we got it. We saw all the gruesome stuff. But that was a transition for me, especially coming from a small town hospital. Now, I think we had maybe 60 beds there, if that, at that time, to not only coming to a much larger area in, the city of Detroit, and then coming to this hospital that was like 20 times the size of the other one, and then becoming a manager of this place. It was a major transition for me. Um, First off, I had to deal with, like you said, working midnights, but I've always been a night owl. And my concern was, my children at home by themselves. But like I said, you were, a little older. My husband was there, but not there. So you took on the responsibility of making sure your sisters were taken care of and they were safe, when I was at work. And it was like a mile and a half down the road. So it wasn't really far. Something happened, I could get home. But being a woman of color and coming into this humongous hospital and running it, I could tell you a few stories that, really stuck out, because even though it was Detroit, where people think um, it's mostly people of color, it was probably more Caucasians working at this facility than any other. There was still the prejudiceness because we where the hospital was located, it was right on the side of Grosse Pointe. And back then, at that time, very few people of color lived in Grosse Pointe. So the majority of people that were patients in a hospital, were Caucasians. And I remember one specific instance. I remember telling you guys about this. You kind of looked at me like, wow, people still do that to this day. Yes. There was an issue on the floor, on one of the floors, and the nurse that was taking care of the patient was a woman of color. Patient had an issue with this woman of color taking care of her. So the patient asked for the charge nurse. Well, the charge nurse was a woman of color. So when the charge nurse went in the room, the patient was like, well, I don't want to see you either. I want somebody that's really going to help me with my problem. Not saying that she had a problem with people of color, but by this time they kind of figured it out. So they called me, Tina, you need to come down, talk to this patient. She's not telling me why she doesn't want the nurse, and she didn't want to talk to me. So she asked to speak to the house administrator. So I go down, I walk in the room, and the first thing the patient said to me was, do any white people work at this hospital? And I didn't laugh in her face, but I'm like dying inside. And I said, ma'am, we're all here to take care of patients. Well, I don't want a black nurse. I don't want a black charge nurse. And I definitely don't want a black supervisor. I said, well, then you have a problem. And she had a big problem seeing all women of color on all three levels, like, okay, where's everybody else? And it didn't break me. Anytime I run into a situation like that with racial biases or whatever, and I never let it break me. I remember who I am, where I came from, how hard I worked to get there, and I deal with that situation. So I politely told her, well, you have two options. Either you accept care from women of color who are very well trained and very good at what they do, or you can check yourself out and go to another facility where you'll have all Caucasians taking care of you, which I couldn't tell her where that was. But, that was my suggestion to her. And yeah, she was really upset, and I was like, wow, are you kidding me? Like, no, and racial biases, right, they're prominent. It's never going to go away. It's still people that are like that. But being people of color, and this is one thing I try to instill into my children, there's going to be points in your life where you're going to come into situations like this, and you just have to know how to deal with them without feeding into their ignorances, and just holding up on your beliefs and values and how you were raised, how you were trained in your job, and going from there. You never let a person break you in that situation, because I mean, honestly, I could have finagled and got her, outside of me being the nursing administrator. I could have gotten her, Caucasian nurse, Caucasian, I don't know about the charge nurse, but I could have finagled where she would have been quote unquote happy. But no, I'm not lowering myself, my standards to how can I say it? satisfy people that act like that, or feel like that towards us. I'm not gonna do it. So like I told her, she had two options. And believe it or not, she chose the option to go somewhere else. And then she had to explain to the doctors why she chose that option.
Now let me ask you this, because you said something to me that it kind of hit me in the gut, and it made me think. Like when I start working at the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
You told me that you used to worry when you had them gunshot traumas. You used to pray it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you? I guess the question is, I don't even know what the question, because I mean, when you said that, it hurt me that I even put you in a position to think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
because I
Well,
was putting myself in situations I didn't need to be in,
right.
and just knowing how hard you worked and how much you sacrificed. Like when I got older, I didn't realize it when I was younger, but when I got older, it's like, man, why, like, because I didn't have to, the life you provided for me. Hey, Queen's True.
Mm-hmm.
The life you provided, I didn't have to go on the street, but it was the fam, it was the people around me that I felt like not I had to prove nothing, but almost I just adopted the environment, because like when we first came up here, everybody used to call me soft. Everybody used to tease me, "Oh, he ain't gonna fight like this," and then I turned it to kaboom. But now that I'm older, I look back at it like I put my mama through so much stress and hard. Like, what if something did happen to me? You know?
Right. Well, here's the thing with that. And like I said, I it's one of the reasons why I respect you so much to this day. Because I knew you were smart enough not to put yourselves in a situation like that. The feeling, it was
I,
not only me, it
let's be
was
real. I wore a vest.
I know you've done
Hey,
things.
hey, I
You've
wasn't going outside without my vest on. I'm straight. I wasn't trying
right.
to get hit like that.
But it was a fear, and I think I kind of got into the line of fear with other nurses, because literally, especially with you guys being young and just starting to drive, and then we have these car accident traumas come in, and everybody rushed to the ER to make sure it wasn't their child. So that, because I can be honest with you, and I'm not one to follow, but when they start making me realize, oh my God, that could be my child that got into a car accident, I started doing the same thing. Like, and me not being in, I floated around the hospital, so I wasn't stuck on a nursing unit. So I'd be one of the first ones down there. Or, they would call me, we got this trauma coming in and we had to respond to them anyway. So yeah, I was over the doctors and everything looking, okay, one of my babies, I'm good, but still making sure that, the family of the victims or children that came in there that were in car accidents or that got shot and stuff like that, just making sure the families and everything were okay. But it was like a breath of fresh air, knowing that, okay, it wasn't one of my children in a car accident. Because yes, I did know y'all would steal the car when I was at work. Yes, I know.
Hey,
That's
we was
one of the
out.
things. Oh, mama don't know we out. Yeah, mama knew, because there was always eyes on the streets calling me over. Tina, or so and so. Yep, I know, because I always check my mileage, and I know when I left home in the other vehicle how much mileage was on the other one. So, or one of y'all dropped me off of work, I knew the mileage to get me to work, get back home, and then for you to come pick me up and then get back. Yeah. So I checked the mileage. I'm like, y'all was sneaking out with the car.
Man, now let
But
me
it
ask you this too, because I just remember. I remember me being in school. I remember you taking us to school. We come home, our dinner was ready, And I remember you getting your forensic nursing degree. So you were still going to school, working, and taking care of the house. And my stepdad wasn't. I was more of the dad. How did you do that? Like, cause that right there, like that's what like when I'm tired, that's what makes because I've seen it. I watched you do it. I watched grandma do it, and now like even though what I'm going through, it's like I don't make an excuse. I still get up and try. Like
Right.
what gave you that drive, that motivation to go to school again after you got your master's degree? After what motivated you?
And honestly, it was knowing what my goals in life were and wanting to do that so I can better myself, and my children would be able, like, they would look back at me like, wow, mom did that. And like I said, it all goes back to my three values. I persevered regardless of what was going on, around me, which, I had a lot going on at that time. But wanting to make life better for my children, being disciplined, knowing, and I'll be honest with you, I never really thought about it. Like, I didn't sit back and say, oh my God, I gotta work, I gotta go in at 4. I'm not gonna get out of there till 11 a.m. because I have a management meeting, and then I have to go up to get the kids to school, or you would get them if I had to stay over for a management meeting. You took everybody to school. I had to cook dinner, and then your sister had a field trip. It never dawned on me how much I was doing really until later in life. When you guys got grown, and I stepped back, and actually your baby sister brought it to my attention. She was like, how did you work all night and stay up, go on field trips with us, come home, we ate dinner, you slept for a couple hours, and got up and went back to work? Like, it never really dawned on me. Like I said, and that has a lot to do with me disciplining myself when I was really, really young. Knowing what I had to do, knowing um I had to work. I had to have this time to study. The kids got to go to school. I got to pick the kids up from school. I got to cook dinner. Dorian's got a softball or baseball game.
You
He's got a
snitching
football
on me.
game.
You snitching on
Oop,
me, mom.
oops, that slipped out. Knowing there were
you
outside
you and my
activities.
wife be snitching on me, man.
Sorry, that slipped out. And I never really call you by your name anyway. Anywho,
Nah.
nobody heard that. It kind of was talking fast, so they didn't hear.
Nah, Lovey ain't here. Lovey gonna know anyway because I had to send her some information, so I don't care. I mean, it ain't. You already know. Ain't nobody coming over here. No.
Right. But
I can't see you, but you get close enough, you know.
right. We all know. But yeah, I never really, I guess I just did. I disciplined myself. Like I said, I'm very routine. So it was like I multitask every day because I knew what I had to do. I knew what had to get done before I laid my head down for a few hours and get back up and go to work. And I guess it has a lot to do with being young too. I was able to do it because you guys see me now and you be like, Mama sleep too much. Like, man, I'm making up for the past 20 years.
Still,
Just saying.
your baby in here laughing at you. She's talking about and still. Let me ask you this, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna talk about what happened after um how I got the name Kaboom, but what about what what started it? What was your reaction when that man came to the house and told you
Oh
that
Lord.
we got to? How old was I? Because I keep thinking I was like
You You were 11 going on 12.
See, I thought I was like 14 or 15.
Nope. Because
But I was
you
even, how big was I then? Because
you
the
were
dude wasn't
bigger than
that,
me.
that dude
You
wasn't, I mean, he was a little bigger than me, but I tell what happened, but go ahead and tell. I want you to tell your part because I just remember when he came down. I'm like, I'm about to get in trouble.
Well, no, here's the thing. No, you were 11 going on 12. As a matter of fact, I think it was a few weeks
No, because I
before
had
your
the
12th birthday.
no. It
It
was
was
after because I had my rim. I had my rim. You bought me that
yeah,
rim for my
yep, and you
birthday,
got that when your
but because
baby sister was
so I was like
born.
13 then. I
Yeah.
had to be like 13. Okay,
No. Mm-mm. Nope, you were only 12 because she was born 3 days before your birthday. And I remember
that's my
on the way
baby
home
every
from the
day.
hospital, stopping, to get that rim before we went home. So you was just turning 12. But anyway, so I'm trying to remember exactly how it started because I think
See,
the
this mom gonna
neighbor.
talk. Look, this mom gonna talk about. I'm sorry, she. The baby gonna talk about. I think I was a few months. You wasn't. How you gonna think you
No,
wasn't?
you were only 3 days old.
I know.
Yeah, but no, he was only 12. He turned 13 3 days after you were born. So anyway, I want to say the neighbor knocked on the door and said that, I knew you were out playing basketball. I didn't know it was like older people. I thought it was, just the neighborhood kids that you always played with that were around your age. So she was like, I think your son got into a fight with some of the kids down the street and they were calling the police. Okay, that's all you had to say. So here I am, throwing house shoes on, everything, running out the door. What's going on? Well, by this time, they were pulling up in front of the house with you. And they were, the policeman said, "Well, ma'am, your son got into a fight." And I'm like, "Oh my God. Like, is he in big trouble?" And even the officer was looking confused, like, no. And I said, "Okay, did anybody get seriously hurt?" He's like, "Well, I think one of the guy's nose was broken. They got some knots and dings here." And I said, "My son did this all by himself." Like now I'm getting defensive. Like y'all blaming my son for everything. So he was like, "Well, they wanted to press charges." So I'm like, "Okay, these are kids. Y'all play together every day." And the guy was like, "Ma'am, no, these guys are in their 20s." I said, "What?" Okay, now I'm really mad. You want to tell me some 20-year-olds jumped on my son? Okay, let me go throw my pants and shoes on. I'm ready. So they were like, "No, they're not going to press charges." But we're like, how in the world did a 12-year-old beat up these older men? And I mean, you weren't that big, but you weren't small. You were taller than me. Like you had sprouted up like Lord knows what. So you were probably about maybe 5'8", 5'7", 5'8". You had a little bit of weight on you, but not, you weren't like this big, humongous kid. And that's why I'm like, wait, who jumping on my sons? I was ready to go fight too. Like, come on, we going back. We going to find these people. And they're like, no, I was just like, I don't think they'll be messing with him again. So I'm like, okay, so me, I'm still heated, And then the neighbor came over. You okay? I'm like, yeah, I want to see these guys that jumped on my
Mom,
son. And she's like, they didn't jump on your son. Your son beat all of them. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that's what they start teasing and start calling you Kaboom, but there were other reasons why also. But that was the kind of the start of it.
yeah, on my mic. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, I think. Can you hear me? Okay, there we go.
Yep, I'm here.
Reason to disconnect it from my thing. Yeah, so we was down there playing ball, and I was busting my man up, and I was young, and he was older, and he got mad, hit me in the face with the ball, and he was like, check. And I'm like, man, don't throw the ball at me like that again. He was like, what you gonna do? I have stringed you up by your shoestrings and hang you. And I don't know why. Like I threw the ball back at him, and when he went to throw it, I literally clotheslined and just started. I just started elbowing. And then when Zell's cousin grabbed me off, like he picked me up and he tried to slam me, but when he slammed me, we both fell. And then I started elbowing him. And then the next thing I know is like I left. They was talking, and I went back, and I guess his mom, Zell's mom, called the police. And I'm literally fighting both of them. Like we knuckling up. They both was off the ground, and I think I had a busted lip. I think that's the max they did to me was bust my lip. And when the police came, the first person they got was me. They threw me down, and when they found out how old I was, they was like, they looking at them like, they was like, I'm gonna press charges. He was like, but you gonna press charges on the kid? Like, come on, we taking you home.
Right. Yeah, that was, and again, how you say being raised coming from a little city town and a big city, it was one of those things like, you know, one of the fears. Okay, now, if that would have, what tables would have been turned and they would have beat you. Okay, that's where
Hmm.
one of my fears come in. But like I said, with enough respect for you and knowing you knew how to handle yourself, it it relieves some of that fear. Like I wasn't afraid of you when you came and said, "Mom, me and the boys going here, going there." Okay, and my words to you always: be safe and call me if you need me. Because I mean, I don't want to get into it, but you know how I am. You know how I am with
Yeah.
you. You know how I am with my kids. I don't care how old you are.
Rambo mama.
You
That's all
put
I'm
your
gonna
hands
say.
on my kids. Oh man, you put your hands on my kids. We all fighting.
Hey,
But yeah,
that
and I remember one specific incident when I
at
came to
school.
pick you came to pick you up from school, and I'm sitting there like he's never late. Like he usually right there when I pull up. Like what the heck is he at? He didn't say he had detention or he didn't get in trouble. So I'm sitting there. So all of a sudden I see this big crowd of kids, and I'm like, nah, my son wouldn't be out there fighting.
Man,
Like
I was
maybe
banging like
he's
three
in
of them.
there. Yeah. I'm like, well, maybe he's just being nosy, seeing people fight. So I get up, I'm walking through the crowd, and I see you in there with these three guys. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I got right in there with you. And he was
But
looking
you,
at me like, yeah, we all
I,
going down. Mm-mm.
and I remember that was the tallest dude in the school. And when I started ramming his head against that fire hydrant, everybody jumped on me. I don't know if they was trying to stop me, or I don't know if they was trying to. I just
Yeah,
started
and
hitting everybody.
it was hard to tell because you just saw.
'Cause,
I saw you, and I know I'd never seen these kids before, so that's what made me think they jumping my son.
yeah, I don't know if they tried. Only thing, and then when we got home, that's when I'm like, hold on, man, my side hurt. Like some idiot stabbed me with a pencil. Like I got stabbed. Hold on, man. Like I remember that. Like that is so many stories. We'd be on here all night telling
Oh
them.
yeah, really.
But
But
yeah, go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. And that's like you said, going back to raising kids, finishing school, or going back for another degree, should I say? Um, Working, making sure the household was tight, and all of that. It was a lot. But being, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but being
No,
a
tooted. It need to be tooted.
being a strong woman, staying focused, being disciplined, and my routine. That's what made it easier for me to do the things that I did. And like I said, my main drive, which has always been all my life, was my children. Knowing what my children needed, what I needed to do for them, and staying focused is what allowed me to get through a lot of the things that I've been through in life.
Now let me ask you this. When did you notice the change in me? Like when, because like right now, like none of these people on YouTube, they don't know me. They just know me for being positive. A lot of people, and it humbles me every time. You know how I am now. Like
Right.
I'm humble. It's a humbling feeling for people to see what I try to display. Because I try to be respectful to everybody. That's the way I was raised. Um, I try to support everybody. But when did you notice the change? Like, okay, he gonna be all right. Like he ain't that the knucklehead is out of him.
Noticed you displaying a lot of the values and things that I grew up with that I instilled in you. And like I said, that's why I was able to trust you when you were away or I was at work or, whatever the situation. But you, well, let me say this to your viewers because a lot of people may not realize it or know, but because I had you at such a young age, we grew up together. So, like you always say, I know what my mama thinking before she think it, or I know what my
Right.
son's thinking before he thinks it, or what he's gonna do, or this situation. That's we had a bond because we grew up. Like I was still young when you were a baby, so we both grew into my adulthood together, your childhood, and then carried it on into both of our adulthoods. Um, and just knowing you, knowing what kind of values and morals were instilled in you, um, I always knew even when you were around, you showed respect, but I always knew even when you weren't around, you were going to be respectful. Take the hospital when you started working there. A lot of people didn't know that you were my son. So, like, I would run into people in the OR or thing, and they would say, what are you doing there? Oh, I just came pop down to see what my son was doing. Who's your son? And I tell them, oh my God, I should have known. He's so respectful. I mean, I never heard a negative word about you around that hospital. Never. And it was like you knew my position there,
Yeah.
but you didn't come there to cause trouble. You came to work. You came, do your job. You're respectful to your coworkers, people, that you worked with around you, whatever. And you made sure that because my mom is in this high position, I'm not going to do anything to make her look bad, let alone make myself look bad. And you've always been like that, even not just at work, but, in the streets. It was always that level of respect.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that got me. I mean, honestly, just respect. That got me far in life in general. Just respecting people. And sometimes people ain't even deserve it, but it still made me feel like I did my part.
Right.
And I thank y'all. I thank you. I thank grandma. I thank my dad because y'all put that in me. And I'm gonna give you flowers every day, but it's like just you personally, you an amazing person to me. You know how I feel about you, man.
I know.
And I'm stingy with my mom, but I'm sharing her, with y'all because I think her story and what she do. I'm stingy with my mom with my sister, so that's my mama. I'm the baby.
Mhm.
I'm her favorite son because I'm her only son.
Right.
But let me ask you this: what leaving out all the drama, what gave you the strength to leave your your first marriage? Um, what gave you the strength to leave it? Because not everyone has, people stay in relationships too long sometimes, and it
Right.
don't work out for them. So, but what gave you the strength to say, okay, because all his family up there, all
Right.
our family down in PA. So, like, what gave you that strength?
Um, I'd have to say it was built. It was built up because we come from Southern people, strong religious beliefs, and marriage wasn't part. I mean, divorce wasn't part of the picture. You got married, you stayed married. Like my mother never got divorced. All her husbands passed away on her. So being in a situation that I was in is, I guess when you do stuff for so long and then you step back and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Okay, then here comes my dad and what he taught me before he passed. Again, always be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Because even though I was married, I was 100% providing for the household and my children. And going through a lot of the things I went through, I talked to my mom, and God love her to this day. She never once criticized me for getting married, one, at a
Oh,
young
love it.
age, two, because I was only 20. And she never, when she saw what I was going through. Mommy knew everything. She ain't say stuff all the time, but she knew. And one day I sat down and I talked to her. And, I told her, I prayed on it. I keep asking God, why am I going through this? I'm doing all the right things. I don't hang out in the streets. I go to work. I come home. I'm with the children. Everybody's fed, and all of that. Why am I going through this? And she said to me, you're going through it because you allow yourself to go through it. And I was like, wow, okay. So it's my fault. And she said, I didn't say that, but you're being an enabler. You're allowing the things that are happening to happen. And also, with my father in law being a bishop, looked down on divorce also. I would talk to him. And he did say to me, you kind of knew what you were getting into when you got married. But, not being married, having children, what they say, you got to get a child a name or something to that effect, were a few of the things that pushed me into getting married. But one day, honestly, after all this, all the things that happened, I literally woke up one day and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I thought about it for months, years. But one day I said, okay, it's time for the cycle to end. And there I went to the divorce attorney and everything went from there. But, I took in, the factors of being looked down upon because I got divorced and things like that. And I said, you know what? That at that point, that's why I am the woman I am today, because I don't let what people think about me affect me.
Right.
How if they look at me in a negative way, I don't care. Somebody, well, this person doesn't like you. Oh well, one less person I have to deal with. And you guys know I always say that because I don't deal with a lot of people anyway. Coworkers are coworkers. I have maybe 3 friends that I can call friends. And that all of the talking to the parents, looking to mommy for guidance, and which again, I love her, I miss her, because she never once said get a divorce. Never. She said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. She said, I'm just going to say the thing. When you ask me, why are you going through these things? I'm going to tell you it's because you allow it. Stop being an enabler. Sit back, think about what you have to do for you and your children. And whatever decision you make, just know I'm here for you. I got your back always. And she did.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm gonna drop the link in a minute, because I
Okay.
want Lovely to come up, and she's still there. But what, like, if you looking back at everything you've been through, um, and to where you at now, is there a message that you have for people, or maybe your younger self?
Yes. if if there's things in your life, like always trust your gut. That's, part of my nursing model, part of my mothering model, part of everything I do. Trust your gut. Trust yourself.
Hey, Miss E. Oh, that's another person I rock with on here, and the little monster. Oh, go ahead, Mom.
Oh no, I was just reading her comment too.
Oh, you can
Um
see it too. I didn't know you
uh-huh.
can see it.
Yeah. Um as far as blissful, when she when she told me the truth, I want to say at that point I couldn't feel pain anymore. I was beyond that. And I think of that, I always call it my numbing effect. It it made me realize the person that I am, what I can do regardless of what's going on in my life. I was always able to take control and keep moving. So with mommy, telling me the truth or telling me how I was responding to a situation that I felt it was negative, basically stop being an enabler, get out of it. Do what you got to do for you and your children.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the link because I need Lovely to come up anyway to drop her information back in the back chat, because when I took a picture of it, Lovely, for some reason the picture was blurry and I don't got the information. So let me drop this link real quick. And yeah, so I'm sorry because the little monster. I call my sister, my baby sister, my little monster. I'm gonna bring her up one day, and I'm gonna tell stories that she don't even remember because she was little.
Yeah.
And she used to knock on my door, and I used to have to go pick her up at 3 in the morning because she fell asleep and wanted to come in there and sleep with me. That's where Dee Dee probably get it from.
Or the times when you came and stole her had me panicking,
Hey, that's my
wondering where my
baby.
baby was at.
That's my baby. That's my baby. I always been protective of my women, though. I mean, you know, and that's what I tell people. Like this right here coming up. This is my YouTube sister. This is my little big sister because I'm taller than her, but I would call her my little big sister. What up, lovely? Come in there and sleep with me. That's where Dee Dee.
Hi, it sound like, do we got a feedback?
Yeah, there's a little feedback. It might, you know what? Do you got your YouTube app open? Like once you hit StreamYard, if you
I
still
don't
got
know,
your
because this happened before I did my interview tonight on King. So I'm gonna
okay,
try to
just look at your like just close the YouTube app.
if it still do it, I'm gonna just go. I can do it from my phone.
Okay. Yeah, that's my me and her was sitting here talking like ever since I started. There's been a couple people to rock with me. Miss Eve, I appreciate you coming through. It's humbling. You know, these are my people. Like we be in Miss 504 chat, and I mean they support me, and you know how I am. I'm really like this, y'all. I'm really like humble like this. I'm really appreciative.
Mom appreciate all the support too.
Yeah, because my mama my biggest cheerleader. I mean, I remember I'd be at games. I played football, basketball, baseball, and I probably not. I'd be tired or just not giving all my effort. And what's that thing you do, mama? And as soon as I hear it, I'm going hard. My mom always been my biggest cheerleader. I'm
always
blessed
been.
because not only do I got my mom, I got my wife now, and I got my sisters. The women in my life always been, because my dad's still here. My dad always been my big supporter, but I always had the women, and the women in my life. That's why I'm so. Um, I guess that's why I'm so appreciative to that feminine energy because that's what raised me. And I get up. I'm not even gonna get into all that, but you know how I feel about the way women are treated.
Right. And I just have one more thing to say. I don't know if you're going to end it or what, but
Oh no, I'm gonna
a
bring Lovey
message.
up real quick.
Okay,
Oh, go
a
ahead.
message to all the women, young, middle age, older, whatever. I'll tell you what my dad always told me: be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Say, because if you're able to do that, you can do anything in life that you set goals for that you want to attain, and that stuck with me, and that's why I was able to do a lot of the things that um I was able to do, hold down a household, work, and go to school. And I just have to throw this in there because, I've always wanted my children to be better than me. And a lot of people don't know this, but, people feel like older people, you can't learn anything from younger people. That's not true because I learn something new every day from my son, and from all of my children. Whatever level it's on, it may be, something they experienced in life growing up that I haven't. I talking to them, I learn things that you can learn. You No matter how old you are, there's always something to learn. Even in nursing, it's ever evolving. So even though I've been a nurse for 33 years, there's always something out there for me to learn. But always be able to hold your own, like I said, because a man walk out of your life, and no offense to the men out there, but you won't struggle because you've always been able to hold your own. And like I say, I was blessed. I was truly blessed, growing up in a small town, not having a lot of resources that I have today. It made me
So
into the woman that
is
I
it
am
better?
today.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I want to toot your horn real quick because I'm not even gonna rail off my accolades, but you raised me to be what I am. You got a doctor. Your middle girl just graduated
Yep, that's
with
what
her
I was gonna hit
PhD.
on because she's done a lot of the things that I did. I watched myself growing up to do. I watched her do, having a family, going to school, working. It's a lot. It's a lot, but perseverance, dedication, that all helps. Being disciplined, and that's what got her to be able to be the mother she is, the wife she is, and the doctor that she is.
And hold on, because you got some more. So you got another daughter, my my little, I call her my little big butt booty monster. But but you got another daughter. She graduated from what was the number two ranked culinary arts school
Yep.
in the country, and then you got that baby. And Lovely, my baby sister, that's the one I want to hook you up with because you talk about creative genius. Like she was just showing me some of her artwork. Like I can't even explain how I feel watching my baby create. Like she's a natural creator. And she into a lot of the stuff I'm into, to the astrology. She took it steps further. Like, and I think you put that in me, because I wanted all my sisters to be better than me.
Right.
Just like you said, you wanted us to be better than you. I'm gonna add myself. I'm gonna step outside real quick.
We are so amazing. Sometimes like we don't even see it. We don't see it. Everybody want to dwell on everything else but bettering themselves, and they do not know like we is the art. We are the art.
Yep.
Like, and this is what I'm focusing on now. we can do anything we want to put our mind to doing. We can do
Right.
it.
Exactly. And having that mindset
It's
is what helps you
everything.
to accomplish your goals that you set for yourself in life.
Yes.
Just that mindset alone is, knowing what you have to do, what you have to get through, what you've been through, what you've overcome. It just made you that person that's stronger than you were last year before, because you kept that mindset. You stayed dedicated, you persevered, and that's what allows you to do the things that you're doing to this day.
I tell my kids every day when I was younger, I used to always say, I can't, I can't, I can't. I do not like that word right now because
Right.
you can. You can do anything you put your mind to doing.
Exactly.
But we have to go through things to realize we can be better than what we was before. That's
Right.
where I'm at in my life right now. I want to be better than yesterday.
Exactly.
Check this out. I want you, when you get a chance, watch the last live I did. Hey, love you. I'm gonna chop that up too. If you want to chop it up and put it on your channel, let me know. I can send it to you. Because me and her had a real deep conversation last night, and when you hear her story, it's amazing. And how she persevered, how she turned. You know my saying. I turn my pain into muscle. I turn my struggle into hustle. That's what I do. You
You
know,
know,
but
Lovey don't know nothing about that. The first time I went
mm,
live is when I had to wake my son up at 4:30 in the morning. The word, get mom on live. I got something to say. They coming for me. I ain't know nothing. I'm learning. My kids is definitely like they everything to me. My son, he is like a computer whiz, and I'm just not. All this is new to me. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I know how to go on YouTube and comment. I don't know how to go live. I don't do all that because I look at it like I said in my interview. I'm not a content creator. I'm just somebody that roam around the YouTube streets and I support content creators. So it's a difference. But yeah, I guess I'm getting it together. I said it now. I don't know why my son taught me how to go live.
Well, that is good. Like I said, you learn something new every day, and I have to tell you this to give you a little laugh. Don't feel bad about not knowing, because when Wi-Fi first came out, and my kids still
oh
tease
my
me to
God,
this day, because I remember sitting in my daughter's apartment when she was in school, and I was trying to connect, and I'm like, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" And it was like, "The what?" I said, "The Wi-Fi." They're like, "Mama, what is Wi-Fi? The thing that you can get on and stream, and you don't have to use your data." They laughed at me for days. Like, "Mom, it's not Wi-Fi, it's Wi-Fi." Okay, well, all right, I got y'all now.
we be clowning. Like my family, we roast each other all day. We have fun. And see, that's what I talk about, love. Is like the community, and that's what Selena said it tonight. She want to build a page where people come and build, and that's what this is. That's what I'm trying. Is build something that people can come on. We can talk. We can share stories. We can inspire each other. We can build together. That's my whole goal.
Yeah, and I love that you did this, because it's your way of expressing yourself, having different people on your live channel, or just yourself talking about life and experiences and things that you've done, and things you've overcome, that's helping other people, young, old, whatever, inspiring them. I love this about you. And again, not to toot my own horn, but y'all know the saying, a woman can't raise a man. Well, guess what? Prime example. I
You did it,
raised
mama.
a man. I
You did it.
raised a man, not a boy. I raised a man, a respectful, dedicated, committed to the cause, and out there inspiring younger people to, you know, knowing that you don't have to be in the streets to have a life. You can have a better life not in the streets. You have a kid, guess what? You raise that child and you raise them with the morals and values that were instilled in you. Or at least if you didn't have that type of upbringing, having them learn from your experiences, so they don't go out and do some of the things you did, either if it ended up positive or negative. Positive, you want it to end, but even negative experiences, telling them, okay, I see where you're headed. Let's not go there. This happened to me, and just hoping that they grasp that, will give you that comfort later in life when your kids move out of the house, or whatever, knowing that they're safe because you instilled that into them. So they know they walk into a situation. Oh, wait, hold on. Mama said this, mama said that. Okay, I'm not going that route. I'm going the other route. Because I know kids like to take chances. And when I say kids, I'm not talking about just little kids, because my kids will always be my kids. So when I say kids, I'm talking about my grown children also. And them knowing right from wrong, or if it's a situation they get into, well, mama never said this, or how she would handle this, but just talking to her and listening and learning, okay, I got to make the right decision so I don't put myself in a bad situation. And I'll admit, I haven't been a perfect mom, because I was very rowdy when I was younger, especially when it came to my kids. I mean, I leaped over railings taller than me to get at people that bothered my children.
Hey,
And
mama, talk your shit, cause I'm
hey,
feeling it.
girl, I'm telling you, my kids can tell you stories. I mean, I'm 9 months pregnant in Kmart, and this lady want to say something because she's in front of me, checked out now. And you gonna comment because I got more than 12 items? Lord Jesus, 9 months pregnant. I chased that lady all through the parking lot trying to get at her. 9 months pregnant, and I almost got to her. Well, she got in her car first. But I didn't think about then something that, I could have gotten a lot of trouble for that. I could have been delivering a baby in jail. But, I thank God that it didn't come to that. And I've done some crazy stuff. Like, one more thing I'm going to tell you about, then I'm going to let y'all talk, because I can talk for days.
That's where I get it from.
I'll never forget. I will never forget. I had, back then, police didn't stop you from having too many kids in the car, but I had a 7-seater van. I must have coming from the middle girl's birthday party on the freeway. I had about 12 kids and piled up in that van. And some guy flicked me off. Now he in front of me and he gonna flick me. Like, hold on. He kept doing it. Okay. Now I'm chasing you. And I'm with all these kids in this van. They steadily root me. Get him, mama. Go get him. Hurry up. He turned that way. Encouraging me. And after the situation happened, I stopped back and think, you could have gotten a lot of trouble for that. Like, you got 12 kids in this 7-seater van piled up on each other, chasing this man through. I said, Lord Jesus. But
No,
yeah,
when you made that call and the cavalry came, though, we was about to leave noodles out. And see
right.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I want people to hear. Like like when I get on here and I talk positive, that's ultimately I want to reach a goal, whereas we have peace as a people. But I'm not telling you do not defend your family. I'm not telling you do not defend yourself, because
Right.
like me personally, like I said, I'm a positive and I'm gonna always promote peace. But at the end of the day, when it comes to my family, peace, there ain't no peace. Always protect your women. Always protect them babies. Always do that by any means necessary. That's important. We have to protect each other. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
You see how silly Lovey is? I just joined from my computer so I could be able to type in a back chat.
So
I'm
Bar-
like, I gotta do what I gotta do to make it happen.
Oh,
So
okay.
I put my number in the back chat because I don't know how to do it right now from my phone. I figure I'm gonna like knock myself out. So now I'm about to leave.
yeah, yeah, I'm about to write it down. Yeah, I took a picture of it, and when I looked at the picture, it was blurry. And you know, my eyes all messed up. They
I'm about to show you some of my stuff so your mom, while she's on here, she can look and whatever you guys like and pick, I can be able to put your stuff. I can put your stuff in the mail tomorrow with my orders I have already. But I'm like, it only just us on here, so it don't hurt me to cam up and let y'all see what I got, and then y'all can pick.
Okay.
and Pops told me he told me just send it to the house over there. You
Okay.
hear me, Mom?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he told me just send it over there.
Yeah, that'll work. And I'll check it out too.
Yeah, and we definitely gonna support you too, love. We appreciate you giving us a gift, but we definitely about to support you
No,
because
it's okay. It's all good. I
nah,
was
it's
really calculating these as my Thanksgiving gifts that I was gonna give out before I got pissed off on YouTube. So y'all
but
still in that category.
but you said something real yesterday that I wanted to touch on too, because I went through the same thing doing real estate and life insurance. You know, I brought a product trying to help my people, and it wasn't even them supporting me. Even when I had my personal training, company, it was the Europeans, and that's what we got to realize as a people. Like, we need to support each other because if
Right.
we don't, the other people they come in to get our information, our knowledge, and our gifts that we have, and they willing to pay for it. And it's sad because our own people ain't willing to pay for it.
You see why I got this little pony? This is my ponytail. I don't buy no hair. I ain't buying no hair because the hair come from the damn Chinamen, and the Chinamen call the police on niggas talking about they stealing every time they come into their shop. Make it make
Right.
sense. I'm not about to
Hmm.
support you. I'm
Right.
about
We'll
ready to
pass it
start learning
along.
how to make my own damn wigs. Like
Right.
literally, I just can't. And people be like, "You always wearing a ponytail, yeah? You always support the Chinamen buying their damn wigs. So what? Make it make sense."
Make it make sense.
Right.
Now you told me she won't fit right in with the fam. That's why I say that's my little big sister. Hey, lovely. Check this out too. I heard you say your mom was a twin. My pops a twin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my mom and my nana, they ident mom, and it's now I be telling my nana all the time, like if I'm loaded, and I'm like, you is creepy to me right now, girl, because like I look at my nana and I see my mom, like
Yeah.
they identical twins. Like how can I not look at my nana and see my mom?
Right.
I don't know what the little monster talking about. What you talking about? You ain't mad. Mad at what?
That she means that's saying I ain't mad at you. Do your thing.
Is that your
Oh,
sister? Your sister? I
oh,
told her, I
that's
said, she
that's my
better get
baby.
in where she fit in. She won't. She said she like my earrings, but my
Yeah.
earrings I'm wearing, they ain't all that spiffy. But I got some spiffy stuff. I'm about to show y'all.
I want to hook y'all up because she do her thing too. She make jewelry. She make whatever. She like when I say she a creator. She make diaries. She make bags. She make
Oh. Yeah,
you
your
know
baby
she
sister will love that because she's into that.
yeah she no. I'm telling Lovely do the beads like she out cold with them. But I just feel like yeah.
I'm sorry, and of course I'm freezing like hell. I have like this. I'm in my bead room right now, and I don't know, but my baby gonna have to give me another heater because my son he be like, "Mom, you gonna stay out there?" And it's been raining where I live at right now, and so it's just really cold out here. That's why I got my hoodie on, and I be out here doing my thing. I was like, I ain't about to let the cold stop me from doing what I gotta do.
I
And
know
you
that's right.
and you in Cali too, ain't you?
Yep.
So it's probably 60 degrees as she called it cold. Well, we pray for 60-degree weather.
I'm
We
telling
in
you,
the
like
30s now.
it be freezing. The other night I felt myself. I was beading, finishing up an order. I went to sleep with my sweatsuit on. I had sweats.
Oh
I woke
Lord.
up. I said, "Ooh, this is sad."
And see that's the grind. And see that's what I'm talking about. I was just talking to my sister. She was showing me some stuff that she made, and I'm sitting there looking like I can see when people put energy into what they create. I can see the energy in the item,
Wow.
and that's yeah, that's her room,
I'm
her
hella
bead
tight right
room.
now. You see, I got quiet. I said, "Now let me see if I can make this damn camera turn around." Cause this is my first time ever doing it from my phone. So okay, I'm gonna start with mom first. Mom, like, what do you like? Bracelets, earrings? Because Lovey got everything, and then I got stuff like everywhere. So like right here, it's all earrings,
Wow.
and these is all my hoop earrings.
Okay, those are
But
nice. I
then
like those.
I have my danglies. Like, a lot of older people don't really like hoop earrings, so
Uh-huh.
these is like my little danglies I make. I have same as my hoops. I just double back and make my danglies the same.
Okay.
Um,
Let me grab my glasses.
oh, you didn't tell me. Oh, you need your glasses. So you want to see? You can even tell me your colors. I wanted to give you tiger eyes. Tiger eyes is my most expensive beads that I sell. Let me see. So this is like my tiger eye print right here.
Okay.
I just realized I put my glasses on and
Mhm.
they shades like because of, like the light hurt my eyes, so I had to get these special glasses to like kind of reflect. But for some reason, I think because I got my computer screen, the way I got my
Yeah, it's
computer screen,
bright.
I can't even see nothing. That's why, like most of the time, like when I'm on live talking, I just hold my head down and talk. I don't even look at. I can't see the screen. That's why I was trying to. I was trying to give you a wrench, Lovey. I hope you don't
Oh,
mind, but I was trying to, and I thought I
I
did
don't
it,
know
but
how to use them. Lovey got a wrench damn near everybody. I don't know how to use them.
everybody loved Lovey. I'm telling you, everybody loved her. And if they don't love her, something wrong with them.
And so, of course, mom, these is like all my waist beads. I customize all my waist beads. Like that's where I
Okay.
really started my business at with my waist beads. And that's sad because and so my mom name is Rose. And so when I started my business, I said I had to make my mom part of my business. So I have like a whole section, of course, right here is nothing but just Rose jewelry.
Okay. I'm like, well, I'm not a big jewelry person. I,
Okay, well
put
you can
some
get
on
you
here
some
and there.
anklets.
Yeah. Well, no, I think about getting some waist beads. I know my kids gonna get at me for this, but I started my weight loss challenge, so I plan on losing this little gut I got, and the beads work perfect for when I have my bikini body. And they fussing at me for going on the beach in a bikini and not my one
Uh,
piece.
hey, it's cool
See,
now. I
I
can't
told
see.
you.
I can't see, so I'm good. I ain't got to look at it now.
Hey, I'm
So
gonna
what
be
color
in
you
there.
like? And what color would you like? Because these is all
I
my customized ones.
I'm a black and gold person.
A, a black and gold.
Black and
Um.
gold.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to write it down because I'm just want. Is little sister in here? Oh,
She in the chat.
little
Hey,
sister should hit the
hey,
link.
Monster, you want to hit the link? Hit the link. Hold on, let
Little
me put it
sister
back in
playing
there.
right now. Little sister, I told little sister she better get in where she fit in.
Hold on, let me hit the link. I think my wife's asleep.
I don't know. Maybe you could pick something out for her because that's one thing. When I'm willing to do my good deed, I don't. I mean, don't play around. I mean,
Oh no,
if I gotta mail
any
it out, make it worth it.
the wife will wear anything. You had something like pink, like a
So
bracelet.
what type
She
of
definitely.
earrings does she wear? Hoop earrings.
She don't really wear earrings.
Okay,
She,
so I'll just get her a bracelet and an anklet or something. I'll put something in
Yeah,
for
she
her.
wear bracelets
yeah, she definitely wear bracelets.
Cause oh
and
yeah, see,
necklaces.
it's so hard because I got like I have like this little basket right here. Let me see, I got stuff everywhere.
Oh my
This
goodness!
is
Look
like
at all that stuff.
my kids are sad. They be just throwing my stuff. So I have like all these is like my bracelets and my anklets. The only thing is
She
I,
is the store. She is the plug. You see that? Like literally. Like no, like lovely on the real when people be like, "Oh, I got this, I got that." Hold on, bring my
prove
baby up.
it. Prove it. No.
Can y'all hear
I'm
me?
so silly.
I can hear you.
Oh, cool. Hi.
Hi, the sister. What you like? What's your favorite color?
Well, okay, so I like pink, but I kind of I like different stuff too. I think you say you got tigers.
So this is a tiger eye right here. I have in they some hoop earrings. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, so I have my tiger eyes in like all different types. I have them like I make them in the danglies, then my tiger eyes, and then I have some hoops right here. That's tiger eyes, and I make tiger eyes like every day because like I
Ooh,
said,
I
that's
like
like my
these
most
ones right here. These
okay.
ones right here.
Which ones that I'm showing
Um,
right now?
yeah, right there. Yeah, I like
Oh, yeah, I
those.
like those too.
Okay,
We got
Mama,
blissful
Mama, you
cosmic
said you
waters
don't
in the
wear
building.
this.
Yeah, I throw in some hoops every now and then. I say because of work, I don't wear jewelry to work because patients,
Um,
Yeah,
this
girl.
all
this
that, and
I don't know if well
um,
sister liked it the hoops, but this was like a I just made this set right here. Um, it's a tiger eye set too, but I like tried to do it in like the little
Oh,
African
okay.
color. Um,
Cool.
yes. Um, so my guy, what you said you wanted, what you said you liked it. Oh, cause see, look at these is my men bracelets up here.
I like that one right there with the red and
You like this one? And do you know I didn't make this? I made this. It's kind of big though. I don't know. Like I think it's kind of big, but I've been no. I don't know. Let me see. I done made this one like a million times. I don't know. Everybody always caught the eye of that. I don't know what it was, but it doesn't matter. Okay, this one, and then I already got Mama Get Moms together. Oh, we gotta find your wife. And how old? How many kids you got?
I got
4.
one. Oh, not
Oh,
you.
thought you were talking to me.
Oh,
You
not
talk about
you.
me, mama. I got a little girl coming on the 22nd, and I got a son. So
How
I
old is
got
your son?
he'll be 3 on the 13th.
Because I
I'm a
have
I'm a I'm a stay broke. I got
Mm.
2 babies, a sister, and a holiday.
you said I'm gonna stay broke. You don't be worried about that when you be doing the do.
I know that's right. I say
No,
that all the time.
I hope my wife sleep because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm legally blind. I don't know what happened. I don't know how she
Nah,
got pregnant.
nah. Lovey ain't let that. Lovey not about to let you use that excuse. That is not gonna be the excuse. Hell no.
Plausible deniability.
Okay, so I'm trying to see because where is I think I have a tiger eye little kid bracelet that I made. I don't know. I'm so in love with my tiger eyes because they just everything. So I am gonna get something. So I'm just gonna get mom something together. And mom, I'm gonna give you the instructions on your waist beads. I'm not gonna do nothing to them. I'm gonna put the
Lost
extra string in
connection with
there.
her.
Um, and then it's just simple. When you get them, you can size yourself, and it ain't doing nothing but tying it in a knot. That's all you got to do is to tie it in a knot. But I'll let you know. I'll write everything down when
You know what?
so
I'm gonna.
Lovey, I think you're losing your connection, sweetie.
y'all don't hear me.
I can still hear.
I can't hear what
I
she's
can.
saying. Just a lot of bleeping.
I can. It might be you, Mama, because I can hear it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's you.
Heat the monster. When we go do our show?
I don't know. Let's see. So next week I'll be home. So, because I don't have to be with the kids next week. So, maybe sometime then.
Okay. Yeah, we
Okay.
got we can link up. Cause I think I had a good topic. Well, we already talked about that. Did you get that video I sent you?
Yeah, I got the video. I gotta watch it and take notes because I'm a note taker.
Okay.
But yeah, I appreciate you, Lovey. Thank you so much for being so kind
No
and
worries.
generous.
I'm just gonna pretty much just I'm gonna put some stuff in the bag. I'll probably even throw some extra stuff in there because Lovey been in business long enough. I even have a 99-cent clearance rack. In my clearance rack, let me show y'all.
Oh,
People be like, that ain't no clearance rack. That look like stuff that you charging a lot of money for. But no, I been made it and I make stuff every day. And the older stuff that I make, it's clearance rack. So whether they want to say it's
okay.
supposed to be, I'm just saying this. When you your own boss and you do your own thing, can't nobody tell you nothing.
That's right.
So
That's
I'm gonna
cool,
hook y'all
though.
up, and I'm gonna make sure I really just was finishing up. I be beating like the whole time I was just on live with y'all. I almost finished up a whole birthday package order I had, and it's
Oh, wow.
15 bracelets, necklaces, and earrings. I be moving. Like I be really amazing myself, like how
No,
fast
I
I'm moving. And when I be on YouTube, that's why I say YouTube don't do nothing but just be like my TV. I'm listening and I'm working.
Yeah. Yeah,
OG
basically. It's
dropped off.
TV.
Mommy, you can turn your cam off. You ain't got a cam up.
You know, Lovey gonna always cam up because I didn't
Yeah.
cam up for a whole year, and when I cammed up, everybody went crazy. Like, I'm like, yeah, I ain't Paul, I ain't Gerard, I ain't Tyrone.
You see, like right now, I'm literally in my kitchen. So, like when I and like I said, I can't do a lot of light. So once I get my office, turn my office into my studio in the basement, I can cam up and I can regulate the lights a little better. Because like I'm literally sitting looking at my screen and it'd be killing my eyes. And see, that's why I said I need like I mean as I grow, I am gonna need help. I couldn't get my sister as a mod. I was trying to put her up there as a mod but like
So
she could
what
be
did
my
I do?
eyes
Because
in
I
the chat.
figured out how to do it. Did you just go? You go to your chat, and then one of her comments. Did you go to the three little buttons on the side?
Hold on, let me see.
It's 3 buttons on the side.
Okay. I see 3 buttons. Only thing I see is edit. Oh, I gotta go in the chat.
Yeah.
I was looking. Okay, let's see. Okay, 3 buttons on the side. It just say maybe because I ain't got enough subscribers yet. Maybe that's it. I think I need
No,
some more.
no, because when my son helped me go live for the first time, I went live and then I was like, pushing buttons like I'm always doing, trying to see what the button do. And it was like, oh, add mod. It tell you if you want to add a person to the moderator.
Because it's only saying now is put user in timeout.
Oh.
When I click that, let me see. When I click on your name, it's giving me the same thing. I'm in StreamYard too. You think that got something to do with it? I'm not on.
And probably so because I go straight live from YouTube. I got StreamYard, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay. That's probably why, because I'm in StreamYard. I'm gonna try to go. I can't turn off my cam when I go to YouTube live. I don't know how to turn off the cam. That's why I
It's a
never.
way you can turn it off. You probably just have to. You
I
probably
gotta
have to
play with
figure
it.
it out.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna play with it. I probably play with it Saturday.
So
That's
did
why
you
I be
get my
going
phone
on.
number out the back text?
Yeah, I text you.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't
I
tell
just
if you
gotta get
probably got to get off
the.
of this.
Hey, Heatha, send me the address to the house over there.
Yeah, because I can
Let's
put
see.
your mail in the mail tomorrow.
Uh oh. I'm coming. I'm coming, baby.
Hey,
Yeah, he
every
woke up.
night the same time.
Nana, you want to talk to Nana?
Hey,
What's wrong?
baby.
Hold on, here. Here go Nana. Go lay with mommy. I'll be right there. Okay, go lay with mommy. I'll be right there.
That's a daddy's boy. He ain't
Look,
going nowhere.
he literally looking at my arm, trying to get my arm. Like, come on, let's lay down.
No.
every night, the same time. It seems like
Mm,
since I've been going on here.
yeah, that's my monster, man. I love his voice so much. I know. No, don't play
And
with the
it's a
mic, baby.
beautiful thing. And you already know with that
Yeah.
being said, Lovey gonna drop down and
Say hello.
when you text me, I'll put your stuff in the mail tomorrow. I
All
ain't
right.
coming between daddy time.
I appreciate you, Lovey. I really do.
And
Yeah.
Mom, it was nice enjoying you.
Yes, it was nice meeting you. Love the
We'll
chat. We'll
chit
have to
chat
do
again.
this again. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Monster, I'm hold on, I'm gonna put her channel in the comment so you can subscribe to her. Lovey, do you got an Instagram?
Wait. Not this channel.
I
it's
think
the
we
other
lost
one.
her.
Oh, okay.
Dorian.
Bruh. It's too late. I'm out there now. I'm out there. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What? Mhm. That's cool. I don't care. I mean, what somebody will really do? They will look me up. Go ahead and look me up. You
Yeah,
ain't
but
find
you're
nothing.
not the only D in the world. So.
But it's like this too. If they do manage to find me, you're more than welcome. But let me end the show, y'all. I'm gonna hit y'all up on the phone.
Okay,
But I'm
wait.
gonna
I
end the
wanted to
show.
say like it's
Oh, go ahead.
it's not this YouTube channel. It's the Creator J channel. That has my
Okay.
phone.
Okay.
I'm with my mama.
Yeah, that's daddy. Don't push that. Don't push the computer, baby. All right,
But then
people. I
that one.
appreciate it. Hold on. Okay, Bubba. Hold on. I appreciate everybody coming through. Okay, he ain't gonna let me end it. But that's all I got, folks. I appreciate y'all coming through, stopping by, showing love. Like I always say, I'm here to build. So if there's anything you want to talk about, you can hit me in the comments. You can email me or just catch me. I'll be in the chats. But I'll talk to y'all later, man.
All right, can I say the ending?
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing, mama.
So everybody, this is the word. Let's build. Everybody have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night,
Let's build,
everybody.
baby. Conversations create nations. Let's do this. Okay, baby. Don't touch that mic. Okay, yeah, I gotta go.
All right. Love y'all.
Okay.
Love you
All
too.
right, love you
All right.
guys.